Namaskar and welcome to this exciting new episode of Sathology Debunking Mythology. Sat means truth, logos in Latin means a study or science. So Sathology means a study of science or study of truth or science of truth. Mythology, myth is a Sanskrit word which is the root of a lie or a fake or imagination. Mythology means the study of something which is not proven or imaginary or science of imaginary. We should never use the word mythology for Mahabharata and Ramayana and the Puranic literatures because it is a really disrespecting the great rishis like Vedvyas and Valmiki. And Puranas are also written down by disciples of Vyasadeva. So we cannot use mythology word for them. Instead, we should use the word Sathology. So today I have a very great guest. He has done a lot of research on this. And you last show, you loved it very much. The 436 inscriptions of the beginning of Kali Yuga. And that was inscriptional evidence calculated by different people at different point of time. Today we are going to go into detail in the astronomical evidence of Mahabharata. So stay tuned. So without delay, let us welcome Dr. M.L. Raja.
Namaskar.
And just to let you know, Dr. M.L. Raja is a medical doctor, ophthalmologist by profession. And so he brings science into perspective a lot. So with that being said, all of us love science. And I think the science has become the new guru of the world, especially for those communities who live by that principle. But many parts of the world, you see that they consider dogma and blind belief as science. But in Mahabharata, for Mahabharata, the evidence of Mahabharata is in Mahabharata itself. So welcome, Dr. Raja.
Yes, namaskar.
So one thing I must ask you before we start is that how convinced were you with your evidences and the dates that you discovered this in your research of Mahabharata dating?
First of all, I want to tell one thing. I derived the Mahabharata war date based on astronomical events described within the text of Mahabharata of Veda Vyasa. It is not only that, I have seen that it should be harmonious, consistent with other historical events. For example, the chronology described in Purana and Kali Yuga Rajavrittanta about the Magadha kingdom, Ikshvaku dynasty and Pandava dynasty. That I have verified, and it should be consistent with that evidence. And it should also be consistent, harmonious with the Kali Yuga inscriptions and Kali Yuga era, Saptarishi era. And also it should be consistent with the Vikram era and Shalivagana era, which are mentioned in more than 10,000 or 20,000 inscriptions. So why Vikram era and Shalivagana era are connected with Mahabharata war means, because there are a lot of inscriptions that mentions after Yudhishthira how much years elapsed from Yudhishthira to Vikrama and Yudhishthira to Shalivagana, especially astronomical texts and also astrology texts like Kalidasa, Jyotirvidaparanam and many inscriptions. So that should also be taken into account. And the second point is, I have seen that many persons derive the date based on this astronomical software. But what I have tried is, because in our nation, in India, more than thousands of years, there are almanacs are there, and they derived the positions of Graha and also lunar and solar eclipse, even the daily sunrise and sunset exactly. They published the almanacs in the previous year, 5 to 6 months before itself. In that itself, they will say that this day the lunar eclipse occur, it starts from this time and it ends from this time. The maximum will be at this place, at this time. So accurate derivation of lunar, solar eclipse and also the positions of the Graha. This is important. It is a Vedic, for Vedic ritual, any ritual in India, they followed it in a auspicious time. So to fix an auspicious time, they record the Graha position on solar and lunar eclipse, and also the sunrise and sunset. So they used this more than thousands of years, and it gave excellent, absolute, and correct result. So I have adapted that. I have used astronomical events described in Mahabharata text. In that same way, I have used the astronomical data and statistics and also the trigonometric mathematical calculations. That is what you think modern sin theta and cos theta, Arthajya and Kodijya and Utkaramajya astronomical text for sin theta and cos theta and 1 minus cos theta. So they given all the trigonometric calculations, how to calculate and derive the positions of the graha more than thousands of years. So I have adapted that method. So since it has given result, excellent result, well-established result for more than 1,000 years, I am confident that using that method, my result also be very correct and accurate and precise. That much I am confident.
So let's get started, Dr. Raja. You can show the slides, and then I will keep asking questions in the middle. Okay, please get started. So viewers, while he is setting up, starting the show, my one point to you is keep an open mind, because when you keep an open mind, you can understand these topics very well. And if you keep a closed mind, then you will probably make a mistake. It's because it is a science and it is not based on dogmatic views or somebody is telling you something. So Mahabharata is an ancient happening and the dates are very, very accurate. And it also predates anything Western or anything Western economics have told the Indians. So one thing all of us should be proud of, that our ancestors maintained such strict documentation. So please continue, Dr. Raja.
Okay. The various methods from which we can derive the date of Mahabharata war is, one is literature. Already I have told about Jyotir Vidaparanam and Kaliyuga Rajavrittanta and other Purana. In the same way, the writings of Aryabhatta, Vriddha Garga, and etc. I will describe it later. And through inscriptions. In the last presentation, I have shown 436 inscriptions that are dated in Kaliyuga. And the internal evidence of Mahabharata clearly shown that the Mahabharata war was fought 36 plus years before Kaliyuga epoch. So through that we can fix. And the archaeology, the excavations at Dwaraka, Kurukshetra and Hastinapura. And the fourth thing is astronomy. And many scholars used various software programs, but I use the astronomical statistics, data, and trigonometric mathematical calculations that are excellently, clearly detailed in the ancient astronomical texts of India, like Surya Siddhanta, Aryabhattiyam, Brahma Spuda Siddhanta, Vadeswara Siddhanta, Sishyadi Viridhita Tantra, Lahu and Mahabhaskariyam, and Siddhanta Sromi. So that I have adapted using astronomical statistics and also trigonometric mathematical calculations. One thing I want to clear before going into thing, I will use the Sanskrit terminology as such. That is for Amavasya. For new moon, I use Amavasya. For full moon, Purnami. And when I mean Graha, it is all the Navagraha. That is Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are nothing but the ascending and descending nodes of moon in modern astronomy. And I denote the 27 stars of 12 zodiac signs which are situated in the ecliptic, that is the Earth's orbit around the sun, as nakshatra. And my discussion has 3 parts. One thing is astronomical events, what are the things that are described in Mahabharata text, and derivation of the positions of the graha using these trigonometric calculations, and comparing the result with the actual astronomical events described within the text and analyzing the result to find out whether it satisfies my date. These are all the 3 points, 3 things. And in Mahabharata text itself, it mentions the time and duration of war. But before that, Aryabhattiyam mentions in as Bharatat Purvam, that is Dwapara Yuga and Treta Yuga and Satya Yuga has gone before Bharata. That is at the end of Dwapara Yuga and beginning of Kali Yuga, the Mahabharata war happened. Viruddha Garga mentioned at Kali Dwapara Sandautu Sthidaste Pitru Daivatam Munayoga. That means Saptarishi Mandala, the great Veer constellation, was at Pitru Daivatam means Maha constellation, Maha Nakshatra. So it was at Maha constellation. Varagi Migran explaining this sloka, he mentioned Asan Mahas Munayaga Sasadi Prithvim Yudhishthire Nirupatau. That is when Yudhishthira is ruling, the same great Veer constellation was in Maga. So the Kali Dwapara junction and the Yudhishthira rule is one and the same in terms of time. And I have shown already the inscriptions. And second thing is, the most important thing is the foreign authors. Abul Fazl Ibn Mubarak in his Ain Akbari, in the first volume, he mentioned at 263 page that 4696th year of Yudhishthira is the 40th year of Akbar. So we know Akbar came to power in 1556 and his 40th year is 1595. Hence, Yudhishthira ruled around 3101 BCE is the derivation from Ain Akbari. Sir Alexander Cunningham, in his book of Indian Eras, endorsed it. And Henry Thomas Colebrook, a Western astronomer, he mentioned in his book, that is Algebra with Arithmetic and Mensuration, from Sanskrit of Brahmagupta and Bhaskara. He mentioned that the epoch of Mahabharata war and commencement of Kali Yuga and the era of Yudhishthira are one and the same in terms of time. So evidence of war at the end, tag end of Dwapara Yuga, this is mentioned in Adi Parva, Sabha Parva. Actually, in Sabha Parva, it is mentioned to Dhritarashtra that Kali Yuga is at the doorsteps. Kali Dwaram Upasthitam. In Bhishma Parva also, it is mentioned by Sanjaya that the present Yuga is Dwapara and only a very little of Dwapara Yuga remains. In the same way, Salya Parva, Sri Parva and Maushala Parva, Santi Parva and Mahaprasthanika Parva, it clearly shows that Mahabharata war was fought at the tag end of Dwapara Yuga. And in Maushala Parva, they used the word Kasyachit Tvadakalasya, that is 36 years and plus years before Kali Yuga. That is the thing. And now coming to the main point, the astronomical events described in Mahabharata. I have taken 24 points because at the maximum there are only 30 points are there in Mahabharata text. Others are only simulations, that is comparisons. Suppose if we call one person's face, it is like full moon, we cannot take it as an astronomical event because it is only a comparison. Karna told and predicted a bad omen for that. That alone is the astronomical event described in Mahabharata text. In that way, there are 24 things. And Sri Krishna went to Hastinapura on peace mission in the Kartika month. So, either war happened at the tag end of Kartika month or beginning of Margasira month. That is the thing we are inferring from this sloka. And Sri Krishna told Karna, this is an important thing, that the war had to be started at Amavasya, falling on 7th day, presided by Indra. So, Sakra Devata. Sakra means Indra and also it means Jeshta Nachatra, because Indra is the presiding deity of Jeshta, as per dictionaries Apte, Monier Williams, and Vaijayanti Kosa. So, the Amavasya happened on the 7th day and on the Jyeshta Nakshatra, that is an important thing. Jyeshta Nakshatra is situated in Vrishchika Rasi, zodiac sign. So, Amavasya happened on Jyeshta Nakshatra means sun and moon were at Jyeshta. That is the inference we got. And moon and sun afflicting Rohini means they have only 7th drishti. They can ask for 27th zodiac sign. So, they should be in Vrishchika zodiac sign. Rohini is in Rishabha zodiac sign. And Vyasa mentioned in Bhishma Parva, it is an important thing that Amavasya, that is new moon, occurred ill-timely on 13th day. He mentioned that I have seen Amavasya happening on 14th, 15th, even 16th day, but this time it happens on 13th day. It is a worst woman, like that he mentioned. So, Triyodasim, he mentioned. So, that is an important thing. From full moon to new moon, only 13 days are there. So that is an important thing. And further he mentioned that Chandra Surya Ubho Krasta Ekamasim Trayodasim. That is within 13 days in the same month, lunar and solar eclipse has occurred. That is an important thing. Lunar eclipse occurred at full moon and solar eclipse occurred at new moon. And another thing is moon in bad shape, not in good condition. That is mentioned by Karna and Vyasa. Everybody has mentioned in Udyoga Parva and Bhishma Parva. And this is an important sloka that Rahu is approaching sun. That means there occurs solar eclipse. So this is told by Karna to Sri Krishna, Rahur Arkam Upayadicha. Arka is sun, Rahu, Upayadicha, it is going closer. Anasa also told Dhritarashtra the same thing in Bhishma Parva, that is Arkam Rahur Upayatisa. Arkam means against sun. So it is an important thing. So we have already seen Amavasya at Jyeshta Nakshatra and sun was in Jyeshta Nakshatra. So Rahu should be either nearer or most of the time it will be at Jyeshta Nakshatra because the difference of longitude between sun and Rahu should be 15.4 to 18.4 degree only. And for each nakshatra, it controls only 13.33 degree. So it should be maximum possibilities at Jyeshta Nakshatra Rahu or just close to Jyeshta Nakshatra. That is an important thing. And certain, Karna told Sri Krishna that his son was Saturn was afflicting Rohini. Vyasa told Dhritarashtra in the same way. And it also mentioned by Vyasa that Saturn afflicted Purva Palguni, Baham Nakshatra. Baham means it is the preceding deity of Purva Palguni. Purva Palguni Nakshatra was situated in Simha zodiac sign. That is also important. And the most important verse is this Bhishma Parva 3.27. It is mentioned by Vyasa that Visakayaha Samipasto Brigaspati Sanaitsara. Sanaitsara means who goes slowly. That is Saturn. Brigaspati is the Guru of Deva. So Jupiter and Saturn are very nearer to Visakha. Samipasto. So they are situated close to Visakha. That is an important thing. We have to place Jupiter and Saturn nearer to Visakha. That is an inference we got. And Jupiter is aspecting Rohini Nakshatra. So it should be in Vrishchika zodiac sign or Kanya zodiac sign. How I will explain later. And also it mentions that Mars is cruelly affecting and Shravana. That is also important thing. And what is the position of Mars? Karna replied to Sri Krishna that Mars acted cruelly at Jyeshta. It come together with Anuradha Nakshatra. That is, it's going towards Anuradha Nakshatra in a friendly manner. So Mars should be situated just before Anuradha Nakshatra, either the previous Nakshatra or in front of one Nakshatra, not more than that. And Mars is affecting Shravana Nakshatra by staying apart. That Vyavastita, that is an important point. So it is not at Shravana Nakshatra, but it stayed away and it affected Shravana Nakshatra. Then coming to Vyasa, Vyasa told Bhishma Parva that Venus is affecting Purva Bhadrapada and looked attentively all round Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. That is important for the position of Venus. And the most important thing is the 7 Mahagraha starting from Sun are separating and issuing out after the war or during the war. That is mentioned in Karna Parva. This is also important. And the 19th point is, I have given all the points and I will explain how this point is satisfied with my result. That's why I have given in yellow color. Paurnami at Kritika Nakshatra in Kartika month, 13 days before Amavasya. And lunar eclipse 13 days before solar eclipse in the same month. And Ketu is always 180 degrees. You can verify in your Jataka that always Rahu and Ketu will be 180 degree apart. So it should be nearer to Kritika Nakshatra and Kartika month Paurnami. Then only the lunar eclipse can happen. And Mercury position, it should be within 18 to 28 degree from Sun. That is the maximum elongation allowed by astronomically, scientifically for Mercury. So that should be satisfied. And the other 2 points are the 42 days of pilgrimage of Balarama and 58 nights of stay of Bhishma and Sarp Aerobet. That is, that also should be satisfied. And also the lunar rise, moon rise after sunset on the 14th day of war, that also should be satisfied. And this, I already explained 36 plus years of difference between Kali Yuga epoch and Mahabharata war. And further, I have, in the first point itself, I have told that Mahabharata dates should also be coherent, consistent, and harmonious with Kali Yuga epoch, Saptarishi era, chronology of all the 3 kingdoms described in Purana, and writing of Aryabhatta, Virudhagarga, Avarakimikara, Kalidasa, and also Vikrama, Salibhagana, and other era. Then the second point, how I arrived the date using the trigonometric calculations described in ancient astronomical texts. If there is any question, I will answer and I will go to the second point. Sir?
No, Dr. Raja, please continue. I will have questions, okay. I'll interview. Okay, but it is beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. Then these are all the 24 points I have to satisfy before arriving my date. I have to satisfy all these 24 points. My date is not erected on a single pillar or a few pillars, either Saturn, Mars, or Moon, or just a vernal equinox, single point. It is based on 24 points. So if we increase the number of events that should be satisfied, then your date will be more correct. You will be nearer to 100% correctness. If you are based on a single pillar, right, or single event or 3 event, your date will be 30 or 40%. Only it can be correct. That is the possibility. So I have taken maximum points. And coming to the actual derivation, in our ancient, this I will just show, don't bother about the calculations. In our ancient texts, that is Surya Siddhanta, etc., I have narrated, there is one first point is to calculate Ahargana. What do you mean by Ahargana? Means, suppose on a particular day, we know the mean positions of the Graha. Any of the ancient astronomical texts. And we call it as an epoch. On that day, we know at the sunrise at Ujjaini, we know the positions of the Graha. That is mean position, Madhya positions of the Graha. That is known as epoch. From that date, on a date on which we want the Graha positions, up to that date, how many days are elapsed? It is not years, it is how many days are elapsed. That is the formula we are using. That is, we know the how many years has elapsed. So it should be multiplied by 12. And it may not be 4th or 5th month. We want a date. So the months elapsed in the current year, we have to add. That will be A. And with A, we have to add excess months. What do you mean by excess months? Adhiga Masa. Because there is 2 types of calendar. One is lunar calendar and another is solar calendar. Chandramana and Sauramana. So in Chandramana, the total number of days for a year is 354 days. But in Sauramana, it is 365.25636 days. So there is a difference of nearly 11 days between these two. So every year, the lunar calendar, lunar year will fall short. So we have to adjust in a harmonious way. That's why Vedanga Jyotisha and many astronomical scholars of our scientists of our ancient nation, they adopted a harmonious method using Adhigamasa. That is, harmoniously we are equating lunar and solar calendar by doing this. Even on those days, our ancestors know how many days for a lunar calendar, how many days for a solar year. So this adjustments, there is a formula. We can calculate for this much year days, how many excess months will be there. So we have to add to A. That will give the B value. And from B value, in the particular month, we may not like for first day itself. We want a position of the Graha on the 20th day. 20th Tithi. That is Panchami Tithi of Krishna Paksha. So, how many Tithi elapsed in the current month we have to add. That gives the value of C. And this C is have a omitted Tithi. So, we have to deduct omitted Tithi. That is the calculation, how to calculate omitted Tithi. From value C, if you might deduct omitted Tithi, that gives the Agargana. That is the number of days elapsed since the epoch to the day on which we want Graha position. This is how we are calculating Agargana.
No, one thing I really like about you, Dr. Dr. Raja. Dr. Raja, one thing I really like is that you brought one important point is number of days calculation, not number of years, which makes it more accurate. It's a smaller denominator.
Yes.
So
in those days, next thing I will tell, how to derive Madhya position. In that, our ancestors know not only number of days, they know number of days for a Mahayuga. That is, in 43 lakhs 20,000 years, how many days? They know 157 crores, 79 lakhs, 17,500 days are there for 43 lakhs 20,000 years. That accurately they know even thousands of years before itself. So from Agargana, we can derive the Madhya position of the Graha. This is the formula. So this gives total how many revolutions are part of revolutions. This Graha has moved from that epoch to till the date we want. In complete revolutions we omit, and incomplete revolutions from if you multiply 360 degree and whether you are going anterior or modern date or ancient date, based on that you have to add either plus or minus. That give the actual position of the Graha at the recorded date. This is the derivation of Madhya position of Graha for a recorded date from the Madhya position of the Graha at the epoch. This thing. Another interesting thing is Desandra correction. What do you mean by Desandra correction? In ancient days, now we are telling that Greenwich is the prime meridian, 0 degree longitude. But in ancient days, the 0 degree longitude was this is this Rekha. It cut the equator at a place known as Lanka. It is submerged in ocean long ago. But when in the ancient days, it may be 10,000 or 20,000 years, it is a place on Tamil Nadu extend up to this. And that place, the 0 degree latitude and 0 degree longitude cut, and that is the Lanka place. And if we extend that longitude to northwards, it will cut Ujjaini. So Ujjaini is the prime meridian in ancient days. So our ancestors, because they calculated the exact position from the mean position, they used the Desandra correction. Desandra means latitude correction. Suppose in India, now it is time is 7:15. but it is not night. But in America, it will be morning time. In Europe, every area will be different. So the Graha position will also vary, because Graha position, it has to travel some more to reach America, the same position. So it is, if it is night in India, it will be day in America. So that is how you calculate the time, is that is using Aksharekha, that is latitude. So Desandra correction is for deriving the position of the Graha for a point, for a location that is away from Ujjaini. Suppose if we want to know the Graha position at Calcutta here, we have to apply Desandra correction. And Desandra correction means how many degrees of latitude from Ujjaini this Calcutta is situated. On those days, our ancestors knew latitude, longitude, prime meridian, everything they know. That's why they applied Desandra correction. This is the formula for Desandra into mean daily motion divided by 360 degree. Because in each day,
sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Please.
One of the very interesting things which you showed over there was Lanka, the position of Lanka.
Yes.
You showed here. Lanka right in the bottom there, which is actually true with many descriptions in Valmiki Ramayana. Yes. He flew through the ocean, and I think many researchers are coming to the same location. So that is 100 yojana from Mahendragiri.
Yes,
exactly.
Even Silapadikaram mentioned, and Godatipika, an ancient astronomical text of India, it mentions Lanka. And Silapadikaram mentions how it has gone under the sea. That there is a sloka. Vadivelirinda Vanpakai Porade. Pakuruli Atpudan, Panmalay Adatu, Kumari Kodum, Kodungadal Kolla. Vadadesai Gangame, Yemam Kundu, then they say under Tenavan body. That is about Pandya king. So, Bakuruli river and also the hills and also the Kumari land that has been submerged by sea. That is there in Silapadikaram, ancient Tamil literature, and also in Godatipika. That's why the first thing we should understand, the Greenwich is created only after 1800. Correct. Before that, the prime meridian is Ujjain Rekha.
Ujjain. Right.
So there are references of Lanka, yes. Surya Siddhanta, Aryabhattiyam, Brahmagupta's Brahmaspada Siddhanta, Pancha Siddhantika, Mahabhaskariyam, and many texts. You see, 13 texts are mentioning this Lanka and Ujjain prime meridian. Right. So our ancestors know latitude, longitude, prime meridian, everything they know from this. See, before presenting my point, I want to present my ancestors, how they are highly knowledgeable and wisdom.
Correct.
That gives me immense pride. That's why I am explaining.
Yes.
And the derivation of the Spuda, that is exact position.
Yes.
We have to do 4 corrections. Desandra correction, I have already explained. Manda correction, Shigra correction, Bhujandra correction. In this Manda and Shigra correction, we will come to a word that is letter that is capital R. What do you mean by capital R? It is a value of 3438 minutes. There is a radian value in circle. It is 57.2958 degree. What is that value? Why that is important? Because an arc subtending an angle of 57.29, the arc will be equal to radius of the circle. That is an important thing. And 3438 is nothing but the radius of a circle expressed in minutes. For example, the formula for circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, and that is 360 degree. And value of pi is 31416 as per Aryabhatta. The modern value is 14159,625. And it goes on like that. So Aryabhatta gives the value, and he mentioned that it is only approximate value. He has not given that it is the exact value. So he knows everything, even 3000 years before. So that radius value expressed in minutes is 3438. That is used in all these Manda and Shigra correction, and that is the uniqueness and scientific concept of Bharatian Indian trigonometry. This is the Manda correction. What do you mean by Manda correction? That I will explain. See, this is Earth revolving around the Sun, and Sun is not at the center. And this orbit of the Earth is also not exactly circular. So our ancestors, thousands and thousands of years before itself, they know that Sun is eccentrically placed and the Earth revolves around the Sun, not in exact circular, but in an elliptical orbit. Even Nicholas Copernicus mentioned that it is an exact circle only. So we know thousands of years before itself that these two things, eccentricity and ecliptic of the elliptical orbit. So this Earth moves fast here than here, because this is fast means not linear velocity, it is angular velocity. Angular velocity is how many degrees of angle it covered in 1 month or a particular period of time. So it is perigee, that is Manda Nicha. What the word we use is Manda Nicha. This is Manda Ucha, Apophilia. There are words for that also. Here, Manda Ucha means, Manda is slow, Ucha means highest. So it goes slow here. Manda Nicha, slowness is low, Nicha means low. So how the terminology itself is scientific, that you have to do. So for that, we have to apply Manda anomaly, Manda Kendra. These are all the formula, and we will get sin theta value, and where we can get sin theta value. We thought that it is a modern invention or modern development by the modern mathematicians. But you can see this R sin theta values are given in Aryabhattiyam, Surya Siddhanta, Vadeswara Siddhanta, and many astronomical texts. Even cos theta value also given. It is given as Uttamajaya, which is equal to R into 1 minus cos theta. In the 15 to 27 sloka of second adhyaya of Surya Siddhanta and Aryabhattiyam and 12 sloka of first adhyaya and Vadeswara Siddhanta and many texts. So we know sin theta, cos theta and 1 minus cos theta value, that is best sign even thousands of years before itself. So by applying that, we can calculate the Manda, Gendra, Manda Pada, Manda correction. This is the formula. So another thing is Sigra correction. It is something hard work. It involves many steps, the 8 steps. And the first thing is our ancestors differentiate to find out Sigra Kendra for Venus and Mercury and Jupiter and Saturn, Mars. Why? Because you know that Earth is and other things are revolving in a elliptical manner. Not only that, this Earth is revolving not only the Sun, but it also revolves around the Mercury and Venus. Mercury and Venus are revolving around the Sun within the orbit of Earth. That's why we are adopting separate formula for that. Whereas for this thing, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, we are doing another formula, because Mercury and Venus are revolving around the Sun within the Earth's orbit, whereas Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn revolving around the Earth, around the Sun outside the Earth's orbit. So that's why we are adopting 2 formulas for that. So our ancestors on those days itself know the positions of the Graha from Sun, exact positions. And we have to get sin theta value and corrected periphery of Sigra epicycle and Dopala, Kodipala, Skoda Kodi, Sigra Karna, Sigra correction. The terms I will explain. What do you mean by Sigra Pada? That is Sigra correction. This is annual parallax correction. So we know that we understand that it is a modern terminology and it's a modern derivation of modern science. But this Sigra Pada is for annual parallax correction. Suppose Earth is in January, here, this is Sun, this is Earth. And if you see a nearby star here, If you see from here, it will be looked like here. In this place, it will be looked like. But when Earth revolves around the sun, and in July month, it comes here, exactly 180 degree away from the first position. So when you see this nearby star from Earth, it will be here. So this is causes annual parallax error. So for correct that, in our ancient days, we adopted Sigrapala for Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, which revolve around the sun outside the Earth's orbit. See, this is how you can see this annual parallax. See, actually, this sun is well above this pillar, but in the reflection in the water, you can see that it is exactly at the top of the pillar. So if a person, a driver is driving a car and you are sitting adjacent to the driver, on the speedometer, that the point, if the driver sees 60, but you will see 65 or 63 like that. So that is the annual parallax, because where we observe, the position will differ. So to correct that, we have to do annual parallax correction. And for Mercury and Venus, because they revolve around the sun within the orbit of this Earth's orbit, and there is an elongation correction. Suppose the Mercury is here or here, it will be in conjunction with sun. Suppose if it is here, there is an elongation. Suppose Venus is here, there is an elongation. So we have to correct Venus and Mercury. And for sun and moon, we have to do only Manda correction. For Venus and Mercury, we have to do Manda correction and Shigra correction, because sun has no revolution. The Earth's revolution of the sun is looked as apparent revolution of the sun. When we go by train, we can see that outside the trees are moving back. Actually, we are moving forward. They are stationary. Like that, sun is apparently looked moving round. For Mercury and Venus also, from Earth, we can see that there the apparent revolution imposed by the Earth's revolution on Mercury and Venus is there. That is one moment. The second moment, their own revolution around the two moments, Mercury and Venus. That's why Sigrapala and Mandapala correction are applied for that. For sun and moon, because they have only one movement. This is true motion of the movement of the moon around the Earth, and this is sun has only one apparent revolution. So for that only we are applying only Manda correction. So everything is absolutely scientific. This is Dopala. Dopala is the base of this sin theta, Dopala. Kodipala is cos theta. And Spuda Kodi is Kodipala plus or 3438. And Sigra Karna is the hypotenuse. So this is the four things I have explained already. So based on this, we are the Sigra correction. And this is, you can see, this is an arc in a radius. This is whole circle, and this is an arc that we have named Sapa, and this is Jya or Arthajya. This is Utkaramajya, that is Sara. This is Kodijya or Kojya, that is cos theta. This is sin theta. This is radius. This is hypotenuse, radius of the circle. So it is all scientific, you can see. For sun and moon, I explained only Manda correction. For other Graha, both corrections are to be applied. For Mercury and Venus, because they have two revolutions. And for Jupiter, Mars, there is annual parallax, so we are applying two corrections. And we have to follow these four procedures. And finally, we will get the value P4. And for P4, we have to apply Bhujandhara correction. That is also scientific. Because already I have shown that the Earth revolves around the sun in an elliptical and eccentric way. It is not only that, the Earth's axis is tilted by 23.27 minutes. That also our ancestors know. So this is the pathway of the Earth around the sun. But the Earth is tilted, no. So 23 degrees. So this is the equator, central rekha of the Earth. And if it extends, it is the celestial equator. The celestial equator is not in the same plane of ecliptic, or ecliptic is not in the plane of celestial equator. They are at different planes, and there is an angle of 23 degree, 27 minutes. So our ancestors, because they corrected Bhujandhara correction, they know that Earth is tilted. What is the value of tilt? That also given in Aryabhatta. So this, because of this, the actual true midnight differs from mean midnight. So we have to apply Bhujandhara correction to derive the correct position of the Graha. So all these steps I have shown are excellently and absolutely scientific. There is nothing is there unscientific, and it cannot go wrong. So that is my confidence of my date, because I have used only the scientific method. See, you can see the astronomical terms, how much astronomy is there developed and scientific in the ancient days of India. You can use the glossary of astronomical terms. If you view, see, they mentioned Bhugola for Earth. Gola means globe. So we know more than 5,000 years itself that Earth is globe. It is not flat. And Chandrapada are the nodes of moon, ascending and descending nodes of moon, Rahu and Ketu. Dirgamsa is the longitude of the place, Desandra is the latitude of the place, and Dhruva is Dhruvaka is the polar longitude. Jya, I have mentioned, our sign. And Hora is 1/24th of a day, that is 1 hour. From Hora only hour came. That's why we are having 24 hours per day. And Kodi Jaya is Ortho sign. And Chitija, it is other name is Harija. Hari is Mahavishnu. That's why Harija only become Harizan. And Lambana, parallax of longitude. Manda Nicha, I have told Periji. Manda Ucha, Apoji, Apohelia. And this Nichocha Vritta is epicycle. Everything is the Rekha or Madhya Rekha is the prime meridian. So you can see this number of, this is only a very minimal collection of astronomical terms, glossary of the terms that are used in astronomical texts of our nation. And we know 27 nakshatra of the ecliptic, and we named it Ashwini Bharani. And what is the actual longitude and latitude of that 27 nakshatra are given in ancient astronomical texts like Surya Siddhanta. So everything is scientific, you can see. So with that, I have explained how I have derived and what is the method I have applied, where I have took the epochal position, the Madhya position of the Graha, from which text I have taken. So this is from one text from Graha Lagavam. It is written by Ganesha Daivanya in 1520 BCE, that is 500 years before present. In the Sakayara Salivagana Saga 1422, in the text, in the first Adhyaya, he mentioned his date as, the epochal date is 1442 Salivagana Saka, and on the Sukla Paksha, that is bright fortnight, and the first Tithi, Prathama Tithi, that is Chaitra month, that's Chitra month. Chitra month, first day on 1442 Salivagana Saga. What are the mean positions of the Graha, Madhya position? He has given. This table is taken from that book. These are all the positions of the Graha: Sun, Moon, Rahu. If you know Rahu, you can derive Ketu, Mars, Mercury, Shigra, Jupiter, Venus, Chandra, Saturn, and Moon's Ucha. That also it is given. Moon's axis. So from this is the epochal position which I adapted for derivation of the Graha position at Mahabharata year. This is the basic reference point. And these positions of the Graha are with reference to Ujjain. He has mentioned Ujjain. So I have applied Desandhara correction, Manda correction, Shigra correction, and Bhujandhara correction to derive the exact position. I have not shown those calculations. Those who want that calculations fully, they can buy my book or they can order through Amazon, through Kindle edition. And how I come to a conclusion. So I have already explained first itself that Rahu is approaching Sun. And Sri Krishna told Karna that at Jyeshta Nakshatra there is Amavasya. So sun is at Jyeshta Nakshatra. So Rahu should be at or very nearer to Jyeshta Nakshatra. So I have taken the years where the Rahu is positioned in Jyeshta Nakshatra in that year. So that year alone I took it into account. And after that, I have verified the sun and moon position in the Kartika Amavasya day. Because Sri Krishna told that Jyeshta Nakshatra only Amavasya day is coming. And on Amavasya day only, solar eclipse will come. So, either Rahu or Ketu should be sun moon. Dhritarashtra told Rahu only approaching sun. So I took that Rahu should be at Jyeshta Nakshatra and sun and moon should be Jyeshta Nakshatra. What are the years that satisfy these three positions in the Kartika Amavasya day? That I took again. So the number of years that are to be taken into account will reduce. After that, I applied the position of the Jupiter as per the where the Vyasa's text, what they describe, what are the positions of the Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn. But I applied. So based on this, after that I applied for the solar eclipse, whether on the Kartika Amavasya day, if the solar eclipse is possible. Because the Rahu and Sun longitude difference should be less than 15.4 to 18.4 degree. If it crosses that limit, there won't be solar eclipse. So we cannot take that year into account. And also in 13 days before, there should be lunar eclipse. So that lunar eclipse, what is the limitation is 12.2 degree. But last year, there are 14.5, even 15.25 degree lunar eclipse occurred. So a minimum of 13 to 14 degree. The difference should be with the moon longitude and Ketu longitude. So that should be there. If all these things are satisfied, and I apply whether this year satisfies the Aryabhata, Varakimikra, and also Purana descriptions and the Kalpa descriptions, because if these astronomical positions, if they are satisfied in the 1900 Common Era, that is 120 years before, shall I take that year as the Mahabharata date? We cannot.
So thank you.
Because Mahabharata did at least some 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000 years. So we cannot take 1900 or 2000 AD as the date of Mahabharata. You cannot go. You have to see to that date satisfies other things also. And you should have more points, at least 15 to 20 points, astronomical event to support your date. If you have 1 or 3 or 5 dates, 5 events, you may go wrong. So these things I consider in my mind, and I for a total of 2,300 years, from 4,301 BCE to 2000 BCE. So I analyzed all these years, and what is the result it has come is, before that, I got to highlight one point. To derive Mahabharata date, we are using astronomy. In astronomical events, what Vedavyasa or Karna described is, because sun is here, it afflicts Rogini, so it is a bad omen. It will cause defeat for you. So all these things are predictions. If there is a prediction, then it means astrology. So in astrology also, we should satisfy, we should understand something, the important points in the astrology. So for that, the three important points are there. One is the aspects or drishti of Graha. For example, sun and moon has only 7th drishti, because they have only one revolution. And this Mercury and Venus have only one drishti, because they revolve around the sun within the orbit of Earth. But Mars and Jupiter and Saturn are revolving around the sun outside the Earth orbit. So they have Mars has 4th, 7th, and 8th drishti. That means from a zodiac sign where Mars is situated, it looks at the 4th zodiac sign. If you count the Mars zodiac sign as first, it looks at 4th and also 7th and 8th zodiac sign. In the same way, Jupiter also looks at 5th, 7th, and 9th zodiac sign from a sign where it is situated. Saturn is in the same way 3rd, 7th, and 10th drishti. This we should understand before going into it. And this I have explained. And another thing is, the 7th drishti is always opposite 180 degree. So that 180 degree opposite. When we look at a person and talking with him, we will that person and you will be always opposite. So every graha has opposite drishti. That is that. And you see, this is the Rasi Chakram. In southern India, we are following. In northern India, separate. But it is very easy to understand. This is the Mesa zodiac sign, which is controlled by Mars and Rishabha, Venus, Mercury, Karkadaga, Simha, like that. So this is Sara Rasi. Sara, that is moving. This is Stira Rasi. That is not moving, stable. This is Ubhaya Rasi. That it is both Chara and Stira. So like that, every three like that, there will be Chara Rasi, Stira Rasi, Ubhaya Rasi. That we should know. Why it is important? Because in Brihat Parasara Hora Sastra, written by Parasara, he mentioned one thing, that a graha in a Chara Rasi will look at graha and nakshatra at Stira Rasi, except the Stira Rasi adjacent to it. 3 reasons. Suppose a graha is situated here, this is Sara Rasi, this is Stira Rasi. It is an adjacent Stira Rasi. So it won't look at it. It will look at this Stira Rasi, this Stira Rasi, and this Stira Rasi. Like that, this also, it will not look at this because it is adjacent. It will look at this, this, and this. In the Ubhaya Rasi, this Mithuna, Kanya, and Dhanus, Meena, and they look at the other 3 Rasis. This thing is important. It is given in the chapter 4 and chapter 8. You can verify. Brihat Parasara Varasastra, an astrology text. And the 3rd thing is Nakshatra Drishti. It is mentioned in Kumara Swamyam, an ancient Tamil Jyotisha text, and also the stellar effects of astrology by N.V.R.A. Raja and N.V. Raghavachari. They mention that each graha has nakshatra drishti. That means if Mars is situated in a nakshatra, that nakshatra is counted as first nakshatra, and it will look at 3rd, 7th, 8th, and 15th nakshatra from that nakshatra. It will affect all those nakshatra. I am giving only a Mars example because it will only applied here. So these 3 things are important before going for the result. We should keep it in mind. And coming to the result, what is my year? It is 42nd year before Kali Yuga beginning. That is 5163 years before present. That is 3143 BCE. On the Kartika Amavasya day, the position of the Grahava, Sun 235 degree in Jyeshtha Nakshatra, in Vrichika zodiac sign. So it is Jyeshtha Nakshatra. So Amavasya happened at Jyeshtha Nakshatra. So it satisfied that. And also from Vrichika zodiac sign, it can aspect Rohini, which is situated exactly opposite. You can see. It is Vrichika. The Jyeshtha Nakshatra is here and Rohini is here. It is exact opposite. 7th zodiac sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it aspects. So that is satisfied. Then moon is 229 degree in Jyeshtha Nakshatra again. So it has to move 6 degree. That is after morning period. Moon will move per day 13 degree. So it is only less than 6 degree. So in the evening time, there will be a solar eclipse. Because at the end of the Amavasya only, there will be solar eclipse. So on the evening day of the Kartika Amavasya, there was a solar eclipse. And because it is daytime, that solar eclipse is visible in India. So it is in Jyeshtha Nakshatra, and the same way it has 7th Drishti at Rohini. So Amavasya, because sun and moon are in the same Jyeshtha Nakshatra, very close to that. So Amavasya is at Jyeshtha Nakshatra. So it satisfies Sri Krishna's base that Amavasya will happen at Jyeshtha Nakshatra. So these point 2 and point 3 are satisfied. You see, sun is in Jyeshtha Nakshatra. It aspects Rohini by 7th thing. And moon is also in Jyeshtha Nakshatra, and it also aspects Rohini Nakshatra. So that 2 points are satisfied. Then Rahu, what is the Rahu position on that year? It is 234 degree. That is also in Jyeshtha Nakshatra. So Rahu is with sun. So there will be a solar eclipse. And Ketu is 180 degree apart, 54 degree. And so there is a solar eclipse because the difference between the longitude of sun, you see sun 235 degree and Rahu is 234 degree, just 1 degree 24 minute, and the limitation is 18.4 to 15.4. So there will be definite solar eclipse on that day. So that is also satisfied. So 0.7 is also satisfied. This is Rahu is situated in Jyeshtha Nakshatra. And Ketu in Vrishabha zodiac sign, just away from Rohini in Mrigashira Nakshatra. And you can see that Ketu is here, Rahu is here, Sun is here, Moon is here. All three are in Jyeshtha Nakshatra. And the difference between Rahu and Sun is just 1.5 degree. So the limitation is up to 18.4 degree. So there will be a definite full solar eclipse that is visible in the evening day. So it is visible in India. Then coming to Jupiter position, the 3 things should be satisfied. It should be nearer to Vishakha Nakshatra, and it should aspect Shravana Nakshatra, and also it should aspect Rohini Nakshatra. These 3 things. One, it should aspect Rohini and Shravana, and it should be nearer to Vishakha Nakshatra. What is the longitude of Jupiter is 214 degree in conjunction with Anuradha Nakshatra in Vrichika zodiac sign itself. Vrichika zodiac sign is 210 to 240 degree. It is 214, so it is in Vrichika zodiac sign. You see here, Jupiter is close to, this is Vishakha Nakshatra, this is Anuradha. So just one nakshatra away from Vishakha. So very close to Vishakha Nakshatra. That is satisfied. And it has 7th Drishti, so it aspect Rohini Nakshatra. And based on that Sthira and Sara Rasi, this is Sthira Rasi and this is Sara Rasi. It is not nearer to Sthira Rasi. One Rasi is in between. So from Jupiter here, it can aspect Makara zodiac sign. Because it is Sthira Rasi, it is Sara Rasi, and Shravana Nakshatra is situated in Makara zodiac sign. So Jupiter can aspect that. So all 3 things are satisfied. And coming to Saturn, the degree is 232 degree. It is in Jyeshtha Nakshatra, in Vrichika zodiac sign. And 3 things should be there. It should be nearer to Vishakha Nakshatra, and it should aspect Rohini Nakshatra and affect Rohini Nakshatra, and also it affect Bhagam Nakshatra, that is Purva Palguni. These 3 things should be satisfied. See here, Saturn is nearer to Vishakha. Vishakha Nakshatra is Jyeshtha Nakshatra. So just one Nakshatra away from this, so it is close to Vishakha Nakshatra. That point is satisfied. From here, it has 7th Drishti, so it can affect Rohini badly. In the same way, it has a 10th Drishti that I have told. Saturn has 3, 7, 10th Drishti, so it can affect Purva Palguni. This is 7th zodiac sign, 8th, 9th, and 10th. This is 10th. This is 7th, and this is 3. These 3 zodiac sign can be affected by Saturn when situated in Vrichika zodiac sign. So it affected Rohini Nakshatra, it affected Purva Palguni, that is Bhaga Nakshatra. That is 10th Drishti, this is 7th Drishti, and it is very close to Vishakha Nakshatra. So all 3 things that are mentioned about Saturn is totally satisfied with this result. Then coming to Mars. It has 4 points. See, Mars is going towards Anuradha Nakshatra in a friendly manner. So it is in Visaga Nakshatra and Anuradha is next Nakshatra. So it is going to just 6 to 7 degree away from Anuradha. And it can affect Jyeshtha Nakshatra because they told it is affecting Jyeshtha Nakshatra because Visaga is the first Nakshatra and Mars has 3, 7, 8 and 15 Nakshatra Drishti. This is first, this is second, third. So it can cruelly affect Jyeshtha Nakshatra. Vakra means 2 meanings are there. One is retrograde and another is acting cruelly. We should understand Sanskrit correctly. Then it has 4th zodiac aspect. So it can affect Shravana Nakshatra also. So 1, 2, 3 are satisfied. And this Tula is a Sara Rasi and this Simha is Sira Rasi. So Mars from yes, Sara Rasi can aspect Sira Rasi and Purva Balguni is in Sira Rasi. So Bhaga Nakshatra and Maga Nakshatra is there. So there it is also Mars is aspecting Maga Nakshatra. So that also all the 4 points for Mars are satisfied if the Mars degree is 260 degree or 207 degree. So my derivation shows it is at 206 to 56 degree 56 minutes. So it is also satisfied. So point number 15, point number 17, point number 13 and point number 15. And coming to Venus, this is an important thing. The maximum elongation between Venus and Sun should be 45 to 47 degree. My derivation of Venus position is 199 degree in conjunction with Swadhi Nakshatra and Tula zodiac sign. And Sun is at 235 degree. So the maximum difference is 35 degree 44 minutes. That is 36 degree. So it is less than 45 degree. So it is acceptable. And this Venus, after 20 days back before, it was in Chitra Nakshatra. And at that time, it can aspect Uttara Bhadrapada and Purva Bhadrapada. That the Vyasa has mentioned. So the sentence used is in present tense. But I am saying that it is 20 days back. How can I justify that? So Panini is helping me in the sloka Panini Sastadhyayi, the Sanskrit grammar, first grammar, what we have. In the third adhyaya, third chapter, 131, sloka mentioned a verb of present tense can also denote an incidence of recent past and near future. So in that way, 20 days back, Venus was in Chitra Nakshatra. That can be expressed in present tense. That was exactly expressed by Vyasa. And from Chitra Nakshatra, it can aspect Uttara and Purva Balguni. Because we cannot say Venus is at Uttara or Purva Balguni, because the difference between Sun and Venus at that place is more than 45 degree. That is not acceptable. And further, it mentions that it is aspecting. So, Samudikshate, that is the word used by Vyasa. So, Venus looked attentively at Uttara Bhadrapada. So, if we want to look at a person exactly, correctly, we should be opposite to him, not with him. So, that from that word, we can derive that Venus is in Chitra Nakshatra. Then coming to, so it satisfies the point number 17. And Mercury, it is in 220 degree in conjunction with Anuradha Nakshatra and Vrichika zodiac sign. So the difference of longitude between Sun and Mercury is only 15 degree. The maximum elongation limit is 18 to 28 degree. So it is also satisfied. So this point 22 also satisfied. You see Mercury is just in Anuradha Nakshatra, just 14.75 degree from Sun. So it is also satisfied. And as per Karna Parva, the Graha that are in conjunction, see, in the day of thing, you have to see this important point. A rare conjunction that occurred on the Kartike Amavasya day. You see, this is Vrichika zodiac sign. You see, Moon, Rahu, Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, and Mars is very close. So all these 7 graha are in Vrichika zodiac sign. There is no graha on all these zodiac signs except for Ketu. Because why Ketu? It should be always opposite to Rahu. So it cannot come here. That's why it is there. And Venus is just one zodiac sign away. So there is a very rare conjunction. That is what mentioned in Karna Parva, that these, all the 7 graha that are in conjunction, slowly they started separating. So it satisfied the point number 18. And there must be lunar eclipse at Paurnami in Kartika month. So what is the difference between Ketu and Moon is 11.5 degree. The maximum limit for lunar eclipse is 12.2 degree. But in the last year, there are lunar eclipse occurred even with a difference of 14.5 to 15.25 degree. So as per my derivation, there is definitely a lunar eclipse just 13 days before Amavasya, that is new moon, on the full moon day. So it is also satisfied. And how this Vyasa explained that from Paurnami, Amavasya occurred on the 13th day itself. So the velocity, angular velocity of the moon has increased because of Rahu. It was exactly told by Sri Krishna that after this 36 years, that because as happened in Mahabharata period, the Rahu affected moon, and that's why the moon's velocity increased. In the same way, in Mahabharata period also, because of Rahu Ketu effect, the moon's velocity increased. Normal moon's velocity is 13.17 degree, but it increased to 16, more than 16 degree. That's why it covered 16 nakshatra in just 13 days. So from before Amavasya, just 13 days before, if you calculate the mean velocity of Sun and Rahu and Ketu, it shows that there is only 11.5 degree. So on that day, there is a
Dr. Raja, can you share again? Can you share again?
Okay, please.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful presentation, and I think you gave a full. I think we'll have to do it in 4 parts.
Okay. Just I am going to, it will be over.
Okay. All right.
Okay. In another 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So month and season, that also satisfied because it is in the month of Kartika. And we came to know on the point number 1 that Krishna went for peace mission in the Revati Nakshatra in the Kartika month. So what happened in Margashirsha month? And Krishna told that it is at the end of Sarad Ritu and beginning of Hemanta Ritu. So Margashirsha and Kartika month are in the end of Sarad Ritu and Hemanta Ritu. So that also satisfied. And this is where very rare conjunction I have explained. So I want to tell one thing, this very rare conjunction. This Vrichika zodiac sign is, already I have told, it is a zodiac sign controlled by Mars. Mars is a graha for war. That you should understand. So when all the 7 graha are there in a zodiac sign that was controlled by Mars, a war graha, and also a solar eclipse, Rahu, Sun are very close, and Rahu is noted for blood, and Mars is noted for blood. That's why an worst battle Mahabharata war has happened on Kartika Margashirsha month. In the same way, in 2019 also, on December 26th, 6 graha were in Dhanush zodiac sign, and there was also a solar eclipse because Ketu and Sun were very close, and we know how it is still affecting the globe. So this rare conjunction of 6 to 7 graha in a zodiac sign along with the solar eclipse will definitely affect the earth. That's why it affected on those days on the Mahabharata period. because all the 7 graha are very close to Vrichika zodiac sign and 6 are in Vrichika zodiac sign with the solar eclipse. That's why Mahabharata war happened. And I have to explain Bhishma Mukti, just 2 or 3 minutes I explain. Because war was started after in the first few days of Margashirsa month. So on the 10th day night, the Bhishma fell on sharp air bubble. So 9 days are gone in Margashirsa month. So remaining is 20 nights in Margashirsa month. And Pushya month has 30 nights. So that is 30 plus 20, 50. And Bhishma attained Mukti on the Magha Ashtami Shukla Paksha. So there are 8 nights. So there are 58 nights from the 10th day of war. That is actually told by Bhishma himself. Ashta Panchasatam Ratrathaga. Ashta Panchasatam Ratrathaga. Panchasatam means 50. Ashta means 8. So 58 on Sayana Syadya. So he mentioned that he was on a sharp air of bed. That is an important thing. And even Bhishma mentioned in another sloka that it is Magha month and also 3 Bhaga is remaining and it is Saumya calculation. That is Chandramana calculation. Sukla Bhaksha, that is he mentioned. So it should be satisfied. And also in Shanti Parva it is mentioned that it is Nakshatra is Rohini Nakshatra, mid noon. At that time only he in Magha month he attained Shukla Bhaksha, he attained Mukti. So this is satisfied if I fix the beginning of the day of war in the first 2 days of Margashirsa month. That is either Ditiya or Tritiya Tithi after Amavasya. So that is also satisfied. And if it war is started on the 2nd or 3rd Tithi, then 14th night will be Krishna Paksha Ditiya Tithi. So usually in Krishna Paksha, moon will rise after the sunset. So that also the late rise of moon also satisfied in that aspect. And coming to one important thing, that is this satisfies the point number 24. Even Sri Krishna mentioned that only Panchasatam 56 days are remaining for Bhishma after he fell on aerobed. So that is also satisfied. Then one point should be satisfied. Balarajana's Saraswati Tirtha Yatra. There are 2 sloka in that. Both are in Salya Parva. It is 34th Adhyaya, it is 35th Adhyaya. Based on this sloka, many scholars mention that the war was ended at Sravana Nakshatra. Satvarim Sad Ahani Adya Dvecha Me Nisrutasya Iva Pushyena Samprayato Asmi Sravano Punar Agataga. This word Punar is important here. And another sloka is Tado Manyu Paridatma Jakama Yadunandana Tirtha Yatram Haladaraga. That is, these are all Mother Yadunandana, Manyu Paridama are the highlighting the character and names of Balarama. Saraswatiyam Tirtha Yatra. Yes. On what day he went? Maitra Nakshatra Yogesma. So on the Maitra Nakshatra, Maitra means Maitra Nakshatra is Mitra is the presiding deity of Anuradha Nakshatra. So Balarama started his Yatra in Anuradha Nakshatra, and from 42 days after that, on the last day of war, Siravane, it is in 7th Vibhakti. Pushyena in 3rd Vibhakti. Usually 3rd Vibhakti will denote time and place. Siravane denote hearing. Karne means at the ear I heard. In the ear I heard. Siravane means I heard. That's why he used Siravane. Siravane means on hearing from Narada about the Gada Yuddha between his 2 Sishya, that is Bhima and Duryodhana. On hearing that on Siravana, Punaragataka. Why Punar? Because in Pushya Nakshatra, after the failure of Sri Krishna peace mission, he met Sri Krishna, Balarama met Sri Krishna and Pandava at Upalapyam in between his Atra, and when he know the result, it is not good thing, so he continued his Yatra. So he left Pandava in Pusya Nakshatra and he joined Pandava and Krishna, returned and rejoined them. That's why he used this Punar word. So in that way, we have to understand. And this Manyu Paridhatma, it is wrongly translated that Balarama was at anger. It is not correct translation. It is who controlled anger and all the feelings, that Atma. So it is highlighting the character of Balarama. But because we literally translate, Manyu means anger in Sanskrit dictionary. So when you want to understand the Purana and Itikasa, it is not just enough to know Sanskrit. You know this culture of this land. What is the character? So then only you can translate correctly. That I want to stress. So this also satisfied 42 days from Anuradha to last end of war. So coming to my conclusion, if there is any question, I am ready to answer. Otherwise, I can proceed to conclude.
No, it is too long. We'll have to divide it into 4 or 5 parts because
Yes.
see, the thing is, for
So
a
shall I
new person,
conclude
it is
now?
too much information.
Okay.
So we can conclude here, but I had a lot of questions, but I cannot ask
So in
you
the
right
second
now.
session, you can ask one more session.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll divide this presentation into 4 parts and then we'll
Okay.
discuss. You know, because
Okay.
this is too big.
Okay. But I got to present as whole, no, then only they can understand.
No,
That's
4
why.
parts. 4 parts we can do it. It is easy.
Okay. So all these things, all the 24 points are satisfied. It is not only that this 436 inscriptional evidence of Kali Yuga, Saptarishiyara, writings of Aryabhatta, Virudhagarga, and also Purana and the chronology of 3 kingdoms and everything are satisfied if we fix the date of Mahabharata at 42nd year before Kali Yuga. That traditionally what we believe is 36 years before Kali Yuga. It is only just 3 or 4 or 5 years before that. So it is acceptable when compared to 5,163 years. So 41 years before Kali Yuga, that is 42nd year before Kali Yuga, is the exact date of year of Mahabharata war. That is my strong conclusion based on this scientific analysis of the things. And hard copy of my book can be purchased from Kurukshetra Prakashan in Kerala, and also soft copy as a Kindle edition available in Amazon. On website for further studies, avinasresearch.org. In that book, I have derived all the positions of the Graha using all the sine theta, cos theta calculations, step by step. Itself I explained. So with that, I conclude that Mahabharata war happened 3143 BC. I thank one and all, and also the team of Satrology and Aditya ji and Mahendra ji for giving me a chance to explain my conclusion on date of Mahabharata war. And also I thank the various scholars from the various universities who listened patiently to all these things. I humbly express my pranams to one and all. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.
One thing I must say, very detailed and very conclusively you have done it, and it's so beautiful for me to hear. And what I want to do is now, for the benefit of students, so now we have the entire analysis in one video. We'll break it down into 3 or 4 more now. We'll pick up small things like the Balram Yatra justification, and then the inscriptional evidence justification. Then the 24 points you mentioned, we'll cover 6 like this.
What are all the method of calculation and conclusion? Like that, 3 or 4 parts we can.
Correct.
We can divide. We can divide the same lecture into 3 or 4 parts. And we can present part 1, part 2 like that.
Yes. And viewers who watched me live, this video live, it's a fabulous video. In one video, we've covered the entire thing. But we'll also come up with the smaller pieces, which many of you have said just now. but do watch it on YouTube and comment on it and let us know your feedback.
One
Thank you.
request: if there is any question, we can have a question on some other day. You can include as the fourth or fifth part also, because many persons will have doubts.
No, actually, these
Also-
sessions are live sessions. The questions come up, but we'll talk offline on this.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining, and namaskar.